The story is finished and a new era begins. It's all here on the Wrestling is Bullshit report. Thank you for spending some time with me. Let's go over what was a humongous week in the world of professional wrestling, a pivotal week. WrestleMania XL, WrestleMania 40, a WrestleMania not to be forgotten. Let's get into it, man. Of course, more than WWE just going on this week, but 80% of what we'll be talking about is going to be WWE. Before we got to WrestleMania and all that, Mark Briscoe won the Ring of Honor World title on the 11-year anniversary of his late brother's world title win. Really feel good moment on Ring of Honor SuperCard of Honor this past Friday night. Unfortunately, life came up and was unable to watch the show, but these Ring of Honor PLEs are usually something that I will make time for. Nonetheless, man, we had Mark Briscoe winning the ROH World title, and we also crowned the inaugural Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion. That is Billy Starks. Great win for her. She's got a bright future ahead of her. And yeah, let's get into the good stuff, man. Before we got to WrestleMania, we had NXT Stand and Deliver. We had Giulia in attendance for the NXT Women's Championship match that saw Roxanne Perez regain the NXT Women's Championship. Very good stuff, man. And then we got to Saturday night, man. WrestleMania Night 1. I think the big takeaway from night one was watching Sami Zayn and Gunther's 666-day reign with the Intercontinental Championship. Very exciting. I was saying months before this happened that Sami was the dude to do it. And yeah, they may have hit a roadblock in making Sami the number one contender while Chad Gable had all that momentum. But ultimately, I think they turned it around and really told a great story in seeing Sami win that title. A story that even paid homage to some of the stuff we saw in 2023 when Sami was going up against the likes of Roman Reigns and the Usos. So it's really cool to see Sami get that title, man. We had a couple other awesome things happen on night one of WrestleMania. We had the undisputed tag team championships be split. So we now have two tag team championships in WWE. We have the Raw tag team champions, Awesome Truth, and we also have A-Town Down Under, the team of Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, an excellent teaming that has taken the lemons and made lemonade, if you ask me, man. Two amazing talents. Didn't have too much going on the main roster, came together and became an awesome tag team, and they are now the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Very cool stuff. Let's get into night two, where a new era of WWE was born. Oh my goodness. Cody Rhodes finishing the story. Bloodline rules match, getting help to level the playing field against the Bloodline from the likes of John Cena, The Undertaker, and of course, main event Jey Uso. Very cool stuff, man. Can't forget Seth Rollins, excuse me. Very cool stuff. Cody is the undisputed WWE champion. The Roman Reigns era is over, and I believe the Renaissance era is just beginning. Huge shout out to Roman Reigns, who had that belt for a whopping 1,316 days. It's crazy to think about where I was in life personally in 2020 when Roman won that belt and where I am now in life. It just goes to show how long he truly held that title. And I think that was a legendary run, legendary stuff done by Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and all supporting members of the Bloodline. You almost hate to see it end, but I can't help but be even more excited to see what they have in store for us now that Cody has attained that title. So much good stuff is coming, man. We also had Bayley defeat Io Sky for the WWE Women's Championship as well. Not to mention a nice street fight between Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits as they took on the Final Testament. Very fun match, man. Night 2 was a spectacle. I haven't even touched on the World Heavyweight Championship match to open up the show. Drew McIntyre defeating Seth Rollins in what was a fantastic match. I think that match has gone so overlooked because we just got so much good stuff in the main event. We had Seth freaking Rollins drop the title to Drew McIntyre in a one-on-one amazing match to open up night 2 of WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre had to get in CM Punk's face, who was doing commentary for the match, and CM Punk whooped his ass a little bit, clearing a lane for Damian Priest to cash in that Money in the Bank contract. Your new World Heavyweight Champion, ladies and gentlemen, Damian Priest. And at the time of this recording, I just finished the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. We will now have Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso as the number 1 contender for that World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest versus Jey Uso is set on a collision course for Backlash in France next month in May. Maybe they'll do the title match on Raw. I don't know. That sounds like a Backlash match to me, if you ask me, man. But we will have to wait and find out. Whew. Not to mention, we got the WWE draft coming up April 29th, April 26th, and April 29th, if I'm not mistaken. That's not in the notes here, but it's definitely something to bring up, right? You got Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw, who has the Undisputed Championship, which was the main title of SmackDown for the longest time. And it seems like we got to clean some things up, put some, it's time for some fresh new matchups. We got some fresh new champions after dominating reigns like Gunther and Roman Reigns. We got Sami and Cody with some titles, and it's time for a superstar shakeup, a WWE draft. I hate that I just said superstar shakeup. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's so cringe. Let's continue, man. Those are the results of this past week in the world of professional wrestling. Time to get into the news. And WWE was everywhere. They really expanded their reach big time for WrestleMania. All over ESPN. Triple H goes sneaker shopping with Complex, one of my personal favorite series on YouTube. We see Triple H's taste in sneakers, and we get to hear some stories. Triple H's not a humongous sneakerhead, but it's just a fantastic show. If you haven't seen Triple H go sneaker shopping on Complex, I would highly recommend it, especially if you like shoes. I like shoes. I don't like shilling out the money to pay for them, but nonetheless, I love the sneaker culture. So it's really cool to see Uncle Trips go do that. We had a lot of WWE superstars on the MMA Hour. CM Punk in particular stood out like a sore thumb, talking a lot about AEW. This is something we have only heard AEW and Tony Khan's side of. So for CM Punk to show up on MMA Hour and say his piece on the AEW situation was very interesting stuff, man. Feels like we got two sides of the story now. And ultimately, I'll say there's no winners, unfortunately. I think the situation was handled poorly by both parties. CM Punk did not handle that well. He's CM Punk. He's not there to handle situations well. He's there to make money. Let's look at it like it is. I love CM Punk, but let's keep it real. He's not there to handle those types of situations. He's there to create controversy. He's there to drop pipe bombs, drop some fire promos, and have some amazing matches. That's CM Punk for you, and we love him for it. And guess what, man? I think CM Punk and AEW, unfortunately, revealed a lot about Tony Khan and the AEW backstage scene. They still got a lot to figure out. I'm not going to sit here and say that AEW is a disservice to pro wrestling because we both know it's not. It just CM Punk and AEW seemed to be a recipe for disaster, and we really saw that play out And now it's something we can't unsee with AEW programming. It really hindered the AEW product. No worries, man. I'm a fan. I will keep watching AEW. I will admit that WWE has been a lot more entertaining as of late, but that doesn't mean I'm giving up on AEW, man. AEW still entertains me, and maybe in certain ways that WWE doesn't even try to. It's just apples and oranges if you look at it. It's two pro wrestling shows, but at the end of the day, they do try to differentiate, excuse me, and that's all that matters to me anyway. CM Punk on the MMA Hour, giving his side of the story, giving light to his side of the story, and I think for us diehard fans, it was really interesting to hear what he had to say. We also had WWE featured heavily on ESPN. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but man, Pat McAfee show covered WrestleMania along with many WWE superstars in a great way and created a bridge with ESPN during WrestleMania week. And I really hope that maybe a few people turn into WrestleMania. A lot of folks that don't normally ask me about pro wrestling were asking me about WrestleMania. What did you think about WrestleMania? How was your time watching WrestleMania? Man, that doesn't happen with me very often. My friend was actually interested in watching WrestleMania with me. I'll be honest with you guys, maybe this is a little bit sad. I watch pro wrestling alone 9 times out of 10. 9.5 times out of 10, I watch pro wrestling alone. So to be able to put my buddy onto pro wrestling and really just sit with him and be on the floor with him as he discovers how truly entertaining pro wrestling is was truly a blessing, man. And it's really cool to see wrestling kind of come out of the shadows. And I think it's just the beginning, man. I truly think it's just the beginning, and this is the start of a new era. They've been saying it all week. And I was kind of like, man, I'm tired of hearing it. I get it. It's dope that wrestling is kind of getting cool again. But man, after WrestleMania night 1 and night 2, I can't help but say it myself, man. I think wrestling is coming back in a huge way, and I think this is just the beginning. And I'm going to be here with you guys to see how far this goes. And I really do enjoy coming on here and giving my mind about something I love, which is pro wrestling. So let's go, man. This is just the beginning, and it just feels so good to be alive as a pro wrestling fan right now. And that's just amazing, man. Let's go before I start tearing up. Speaking of tearing up, man, Bray Wyatt. Oh, Peacock came out with a documentary about Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt. I believe it was called Becoming Immortal, and it just pulled the curtain back 1,000%, walked you through the journey that was creating Bray Wyatt, told by the loved ones of Wyndham Rotunda. I miss Bray Wyatt, man. Of course, I shed a tear during this. This is a fantastic documentary that you can see on Peacock right now. Not to mention, they made one for Cody Rhodes a couple months ago. I think this Bray Wyatt one is just, oh my gosh, it's perfect. It gives you closure. It gives you a second to cry a little bit, man. I think Wyndham Rotunda was taken from us so suddenly, and he was loved by millions. So getting closure on all that was really tough. We had a SmackDown episode to gain closure, but other than that, we haven't had many opportunities to gain closure on Bray Wyatt. This Peacock documentary allows us to do that, allows us to sit in it, allows us to reflect on the brilliant mind of Wyndham Rotunda and just how iconically amazing Bray Wyatt was as a character, man. Oh my gosh. Just amazing. Go check it out. I might have to watch it a second time. Um yeah, man. We got two more pieces of news for you, man. We got Will Ospreay being featured on IGN. And it's actually really interesting. In a heavy WWE week, we have this 6 to 7 minute IGN video covering Will Ospreay's fandom of Assassin's Creed and how it helped him craft his character that is the aerial assassin on AEW television. Very interesting stuff, man. Little 7 minute video by IGN. I bet if you hit the YouTube search Will Ospreay Assassin's Creed IGN, the video will pop right up. Really cool stuff. Cool to see AEW kind of taking a different approach as WWE just gets the big rub on ESPN through the Pat McAfee show. AEW is appealing to a different audience on IGN. Really cool, man. Different strokes for different folks. So to see WWE going in one direction successfully and AEW planting the seeds for success in another direction, that's fantastic, man. We should celebrate that. I love both companies. I believe that's enough news for today, man. We got the last segment of the Wrestling is Bullshit report, and that is the watch list. I only have one show for you guys. We just had an exhausting WrestleMania week. So I got one show of importance for you guys to check out and take note of, if you even want to. This is a New Japan Pro Wrestling show. I understand as an American audience, not many wrestling fans out here watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. But if you are a New Japan fan or have ever been interested in checking it out, we got New Japan Pro Wrestling Windy City Riot coming out of Chicago, Illinois. So no, you don't have to get up at 4 a.m. to watch this one. You'll be able to watch this one on Friday afternoon. If you wish not, excuse me, if you wish not to watch SmackDown, you have New Japan Pro Wrestling Windy City Riot. It is a pay-per-view for $20, and you can watch that on New Japan World. NJPW World, the official streaming service of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's run down 4 important matches, but these aren't the only 4 important matches on the card. I know New Japan is a pretty niche thing, so I'm just going to highlight 4 matches, but go ahead and check out the full card for yourself. See if this card is something you may be interested in spending $20 in. Watch something different. I don't know. Maybe you need a break from wrestling and you don't need to watch this, and that's fine too. But if you have the courage to check out some New Japan Pro Wrestling after one of the best WrestleManias just took place, by all means, man, let's get into it. Stephanie Vaquer defends the Strong Women's Championship against AZM. The Guerrillas of Destiny, the team of El Fantasmo and Hikuleo, defend the Strong Openweight Tag Team titles in a 4-corner match. Here we go. These next 2 matches are definitely head turners. I understand how those first 2 matches may not be as interesting to some, and I don't blame you. Let's get into these next 2 matches because they're pretty tight. Matt Riddle defends the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship against Zack Sabre Jr. Tetsuya Naito defends the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against the Death Rider, Jon Moxley. That match itself, the main event, man. We'll see if I end up watching New Japan Pro Wrestling Windy City Riot this Friday, because I want to see Tetsuya Naito take on Jon Moxley for that IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, the greatest prize in Japanese wrestling, without a freaking doubt. That's all I got, man. Very short watch list. Just one show for you guys today. The bulk of this show was definitely in, reacting to WrestleMania, as well as analyzing this new era of pro wrestling that WWE is going to take us through. Oh my goodness. Here's the great thing about WWE firing on all cylinders, reaching their full potential in storyline, character development, and in-ring action. When WWE steps it up, it gives no choice for every other promotion but to step up themselves. WWE leads the pack, and if they are being groundbreaking and fantastic through their storytelling, character development, and in-ring action, then it's going to give guys like AEW, guys like TNA, I'm saying guys, I should be saying promotions like AEW, promotions like TNA, and promotions like New Japan Pro Wrestling and what have you, no choice but to step their shit up and give us, the audience, their best. It's a win-win situation for the audience, man. And I think WWE really taking the charge in this Paul Levesque era, in this Renaissance era, whatever the hell you want to call it. Freaking amazing, freaking exciting. I sound like Famous B up in here. I'm excited as hell. I'll talk to y'all later, man. Peace out. Be good, guys.